LOB crates.
Today is a good one, people. Today is going to be a good one. It's been a good morning routine. You know, I always find that Sundays tend to be like really productive days, even though I try not to do like a whole lot, just try and, you know, switch off and relax a little bit. But got some good gems today. Got some good gems. I'm going to kind of explain to you guys like why certain beats sell, and I've experienced this myself, but I'm going to explain why some beats sell and why some kind of just flop and don't do so well. And this is just my opinion, and you can debate me in the comments if you want to. Because you know, not because like I'm right and you're wrong, just because this is just the way I feel. But if you feel like it's something else as well, then you know we can debate it. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's more lent towards the melody being good, or like the melody sort of being the primary attraction to the beat first. I don't know. I just feel like with so many certain sounds being accessible in terms of like the 808s and the snares, and like you can just pick up like a reasonably good drum kit for fairly cheap, and like, you know, be able to make really good like hard sounding beats. So the reason why like I feel this way is just because like the melodies I feel like they're a lot harder to get right, especially if you want to like develop your own sound, you know, using loops or without loops or with MIDI kits and whatnot. I feel like it takes more repetitions to get to that point where you can load up your DAW and just think about the creative side of it and not have to worry about like the music theory. But yeah, gonna give you guys some gems for that today, and I've got a big release that kind of ties into this. So yeah, we're gonna get into all that shortly. Oh, look who that is.
It was just a time to focus and I guess reflect on everything and really decide, like, for me anyway, really decide what way I want to go.
Yep, the Ocean podcast is up. He dropped it on Sunday. But yeah, we had a really good chat. Like, it was awesome just to like sit down and just like have a really good, you know, get to know the kind of guy. He's just a cool guy, man. He's got a lot going on and like he's just super humble about it all. So go and check out the podcast. We had a really good chat. We dropped some gems in there, beat selling gems, spoke about the shorty placement, living out in Cyprus. He speaks about living out in Spain. So yeah, man, type in Ocean podcast and it should be the first one that pops up. Anyway, back to yesterday when I forgot to record this. Alright, let's get into this. So, as I was saying, the melodies, I feel like, especially in 2020, they're like probably one of the most important elements to the beat now, because, you know, trap has a certain sound or a certain bounce, so you can only do so much with the drums. Not in a bad way, but trap is trap. If it's got a different bounce to it, then it's kind of hip-hop or, you know, lo-fi. So, you know, you kind of catch my drift. But I feel like where you can make your beats stand out from the crowd and be different to the majority, which is appealing to a lot of artists. Trust me, it's more appealing for you to develop your own sound. But yeah, so the melody like is super, I feel like that's super important, and I feel like everyone should be working on just their melodies and spending a lot of time getting their melodies to a point where they're like, okay, this sounds unique but it's still like fire. Okay, so like different bits of variation. You may sound like super advanced, or I don't know, maybe super simple to some of you. But the key to all of this, the key to getting those melodies and loops sounding like nice and just unique and realistic, because this sounds like super realistic. And no samples were used in this, no like real sounds were used in this. It was all VSTs. So let me break it down and I'll kind of make a new melody and explain my process. So we'll go for a common instrument, especially in 2020. Let's go for a guitar. I'm in the scale of C minor. The first step that I go to and like my first thought process is, first I'm going to lay down the melody that's going to run throughout the whole beat. It normally consists of a chord progression, you know, 2 or 3 chords, sometimes just one, just depending on the style of beat I'm going for, and then a top melody, and sometimes some bass notes. So I'm in C minor, so I'm going to start with a C minor chord. Okay, sounds a bit dry, sounds a bit average. That's going to be the chord that I'm going to work in within this first bar, okay? I might decide on a different chord this time, so I'll go with A sharp minor, fix those notes. And that's my 2 chords, and that chord progression is going to repeat every bar. That's going to be the 8 bar, literally those chords right there, going to repeat all the time. So once I've figured out what chords I want to use, now's the part where you start to be creative. And the thing that I always go by is use the same keys that are in that chord, but just mess around with the rhythm and mess around with the octaves. Like that's pretty much as simple as I can put it. And the keys, again, just keep it simple. So I'm just going to go in and play around with this. So I'm going to invert this right here. I'm going to put the D up there. I'm going to strum these out a little bit. I'm going to knock this down an octave. That's better. Okay. And that same rhythm underneath right here, so the 2 bottom notes, I'm just going to duplicate that rhythm right there. that's all I'm gonna put in right there. And then I'm just gonna keep that rhythm the same. So in fact, what you can actually do is just duplicate that across and knock it down to the chord that you want it to be in. So I'm gonna go A minor and just make sure that we're still in key right here. So that C needs to move. Okay, cool, and that's going to be my first part of the loop. What I'd normally do is just add a little bit of variation in this second repetition, so let's listen to it. Key right there, C, G. Turn down a bit. That's it. Okay, and that's my loop. I'm happy with that. And now you can go in and be a bit more creative with it, randomize the keys. Maybe I'll add some other effects, you know, you can go in and this is all like subjective to whatever you like to put on your melody. So normally a bit of reverb works well. Delay, all right? And that's like the basis of the loop. So that'll be step one of my process. I'd get that main loop to a point where I'm happy with it, add all my effects to it before I go in and start adding other sounds, okay? So that's the first step. Now the next thing that I'll think about, and this doesn't have to take place, but the next thing that I'll think about is to whether I need to layer this sound up. Is the sound thick enough to stand up by itself, or do I need to add another sound to it to fill it out a bit more? So I think this could do with another sound, so I'm gonna go in and just add, you know, let's go with expand, so maybe like a ukulele or something. Copy, paste, lock it down an octave. Okay, that sounds better, okay? Just something quiet in the background, but it's just filling out that low end nicely. Now I've got my main melody, that's just gonna loop throughout the whole beat. Now the third step is to add that counter melody, which can be super simple. So like you can literally just come in and add another sound. So it's a guitar, so I wanna kind of keep with that same theme, some kind of harp. I'm just gonna stay within a small range, so like maybe like within this range. I'm not gonna be putting keys all over the place. I just wanna add some kind of like simple melody to sit on top. So maybe do like a longer triplet effect, so. Turn this tempo down even more, I think. And that's the counter melody. So like, again, you can see like we're not taking up a huge amount of space for this melody. It's just giving like a little bit of ear candy. When you bring that sound in, it kind of just keeps the ears, you know, perked up and people interested. So yeah, that's the second thing, add that counter melody. And then the next thing, this sounds so basic, but you're just gonna add another tiny bit of ear candy, 1 or 2 different pieces of ear candy. I just call it ear candy because it's not really a counter melody. It's not like part of the main melody. It's just something to keep the listener, you know, interested. So one of the best ways is just to add some kind of vocal chops. I'm gonna come into arcade, distant voices line. Let's just see how this sounds. That's it. That's basically going to be my whole melody. So yeah, once I'm happy with it, split them up by their channel and then just structure it. So the way I normally structure it out super quickly, just highlight everything, put it into a 3 minute, 3 minute beat. Okay, that's 2 minutes 30, that's cool. And then I'll just start out with the first sound that we had in the melody. And then I'm going to bring this variation in. This is going to be the chorus right here, or the hook. Then I'm going to have the first part of the verse, so I don't know, maybe take out the layer again, back to normal, or like just put in this little counter melody. Then I would add in this little vocal chop right here. Bring this in again like halfway through. Cool. Then we're back to the hook right there, nice full melody, and then we're going to start again. So like get rid of that and duplicate that across. And there's your full beat as a loop. All you got to do then is just select it all, tools, consolidate it, and you're good to go. Put it into a WAV file, add your drums, and you're good to go. But yeah, back to the whole point of this video. Getting your melodies on point, I feel like is super important when it comes to being able to stand out. That's going to play a huge part in your branding. You know, you can do all the marketing stuff, you can do all of the DMing and stuff like that, but the beats are going to be the thing that determines whether you're going to be successful or not. So doing all of these strategies that I explained in the other videos, they're going to be super helpful, but you have to get that product on point, and this is a really good way of just finding your own sound, finding your own lane. I thought this was an important video, not because it's like some kind of gem or like secret strategy, but because you need to be like aware of like this stuff. The beats have to be high quality, and this is the workflow that has worked well for me within the past like few months. And honestly, if you keep doing it, if you do it over and over again, it becomes second nature. And if you want to, you can just use loops to get you started. That's like a really easy way to get quick inspiration. You don't even have to use the loop. You can kind of put the loop in, add effects to it, turn it down in the mix, and that can give you an idea for a chord progression. Then you can jump into that structure that I've just explained to you guys, which allows me to segue into like a mini plug. I'm sorry, it's gonna have to be a plug, but yeah, I've dropped the loop kit, or I guess I'll try to get it out by the time I've uploaded this video. I'll put the link down below if you want to take a listen to all the loops inside of it and jump onto that loop kit. But yeah, it's the SE loop kit. It's got tons of loops, man. Got like 20 really high quality loops. Spent a lot of time on these loops. Just run you through some. Just clean, like realistic. Right, ethnic kind of bounce to them. Yeah man, that's out. I hope you guys like that kit. It's a super good kit. I've spent a lot of time on the loops in that kit. I'll leave the video there. Hope that has been helpful. As always, you know what to do. Subscribe and all that stuff. Yeah, hope that helped.